Imagine this. You wake up one day and feel that something is wrong. It's not physical pain. It's not an external problem. It's that feeling that time is passing and you're still in the same place. Years of unexecuted ideas, of unfulfilled promises, of excuses disguised as logical reasons. The feeling that you could have been much further if you had only done what you knew you should do. This is the point where most people arrive, the moment when they ask themselves, what happened to my life? And the answer is simple. They waited. They waited to feel ready. They waited for the perfect motivation. They waited for the conditions to be favorable. But time doesn't wait. And the truth is that the world gives nothing to those who wait. You've seen it. People who always say they're going to change their life, who have big plans, who want to improve. And every time you ask them, they're still at the same point. I'm going to start next month. When I have more time. When this stress streak ends. Lie. They're not going to do anything. Because they still believe in the fantasy that at some point they will feel inspired and everything will be easier. But that never happens. Meanwhile, others, with fewer resources, with more problems, with more difficulties, keep going. They don't wait, they don't complain, they don't look for excuses. They just do what they have to do. Not because they feel like it, but because they understand something fundamental. Discipline is the only thing that separates success from failure. If you think this video is another cheap motivational speech, close this tab now. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is this. Either you discipline yourself, or you resign yourself to being a mediocre version of what you could be. Today, we're going to dismantle the illusion of motivation. We're going to talk about what really matters, how to develop willpower, how to resist instant gratification, and how to build habits that lead to success, no matter how many times you've failed before. 8 lessons that won't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to understand to change once and for all. So, if you're ready to stop fooling yourself and take control of your life, stay, because what comes next can change everything. Break the illusion of motivation. Motivation is a fraud. We have been sold the idea that to achieve something, we first need to feel inspired, excited, eager. But tell me, how many times have you been super motivated to exercise, to start a project, to change your life? And yet, you left it halfway? That happens because motivation is a fleeting, volatile, unstable emotion. It's like a lit match in the middle of a storm. It ignites intensely, but in a matter of seconds, it goes out. And most people live depending on that spark, waiting for the day when they magically feel like taking action. But that day doesn't come, and it never will. Now think about this. Have you ever seen a soldier on the battlefield waiting to feel motivated to fight? Or a surgeon in a complex operation saying, "Today, I don't feel inspired to save lives"? No, because those people understand something that most don't. Important actions don't depend on emotions. They depend on discipline. Here's the painful reality to accept. Successful people don't do what they feel like doing. They do what they have to do, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. If you want to depend on motivation, you're going to lose, because there will be days when you won't want to get up early. Days when you'd rather stay in bed, procrastinate, postpone. And if at those moments you decide not to act because you don't feel motivated, then you're already dead in the game. It's on those days where those who triumph separate from those who give up. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius put it clearly, "In the morning, when you rise unwillingly, bear in mind that your duty as a human being is to act. He didn't say, when you feel like it. He said, your duty, because your duty is what you do, regardless of how you feel. Now, how do you break this illusion of motivation? How do you stop depending on this mirage? First, change your mindset. Stop saying, I need motivation, and start saying, I need discipline. Ask yourself, if my life depended on doing this, would I do it regardless of how I feel? The answer is always yes, because in reality, you can do it without motivation. You just don't want to. Second, have a system, not just goals. It's not enough to want results. You need a process. A writer doesn't become a writer by writing when they feel inspired, but by writing every day. An athlete doesn't become a champion by training when they feel like it, but by training even when they hate every second of the exercise. Third, master your emotions. Your brain will ask for comfort. It's a primitive instinct, but you are not your brain. You are the one who decides what to do. When you feel like giving up, don't think. Act. Don't negotiate with your mind. Just do it. Fourth, make it hard at the beginning. Make a radical decision. A day when you tell yourself, from today on, I do what I have to do, whether I feel like it or not. Yes, at the beginning, it will be hard. But over time, that discipline muscle strengthens. And before you know it, acting without motivation will be your new normal. If you only act when you feel motivated, then you will never do anything important in your life. But if you are able to act even on the worst days, that's when you become truly unstoppable. So tell me, will you keep waiting for motivation to come, or will you finally take control? 2. Master your impulses. Imagine this. It's late at night. You have a clear goal in mind, something important that will change your life. It could be studying, training, starting that project you've been putting off. You have it clear. You know you should do it. But then, you feel an impulse. Just one more video. Just 5 minutes on social media. Just a small distraction. And without realizing it, you've lost an hour. Again. This is not a made-up story. It's your story. And you've repeated it so many times that you don't even realize that you've been defeated before you start. Your biggest enemy is not a lack of talent. It's not the world, nor the competition, nor the difficulties. It's you. It's those uncontrollable impulses that drag you in the opposite direction of your goals. It's that part of your mind that seeks immediate pleasure, comfort, the easy way. It's the voice that tells you, do it later, when you know you have to do it now. From the moment you wake up, you're at war with yourself. You want to get up early, but your body asks for 5 more minutes in bed. You want to concentrate, but something inside you seeks distractions. You want to exercise, but laziness tells you to start tomorrow. Every day is a battle, and so far, you've been losing. But here's the truth you don't want to hear. If you don't master yourself, you're not going anywhere. Think about those who have achieved something great. They're not special. They don't have superpowers. They are people who learned to control themselves when their mind tried to sabotage them. They learned to silence that inner voice that said, do it later, and to act without hesitation. If you want to win this war, you need to train yourself. You need to toughen up. First, break the pattern. The next time you feel the urge to procrastinate, to distract yourself, to take the easy way, stop. Don't act on autopilot. Ask yourself, does this make me stronger or weaker? Second, punish your weak mind. If you realize that you're giving in to an unnecessary impulse, do the opposite. If you want to postpone something, do it immediately. If you want to skip the workout, double the intensity. Turn every attempt at self-sabotage into an opportunity to strengthen yourself. Third, create barriers. If you know something distracts you, eliminate it. If the phone steals hours from you, leave it in another room. If you waste time on social media, block them while you work. Don't trust your willpower. Make failure impossible. Fourth, use discomfort as a weapon. When you feel that something is difficult, when everything in you wants to give up, smile. That's where you become stronger. That's where most people stop, and where you keep going. The difference between someone who controls their life and someone who is a slave to their impulses is simple. One acts with intention, the other reacts without thinking. Every time you make a bad decision, every time you give in to immediate pleasure, you become weaker. But every time you resist, choose discipline over desire, you become stronger. This is not a theory. It's the daily battle that defines who you are and who you will become. 3. Be a finisher. Think about this. You're watching an amazing movie, a story that has you hooked. There's tension, there's excitement. The protagonist is about to face his biggest challenge, and suddenly the screen goes off. There's no ending. There's no resolution. Only the feeling of something unfinished remains. Would that bother you? Of course. Nobody wants a story without an ending. Nobody wants a book without its last page. Nobody wants to start something only to be left halfway. And yet, that's what most people do with their own lives. They start with enthusiasm. They sign up for the gym, buy books they never finish, start projects with big ideas. But when things stop being exciting, when the path becomes repetitive, when obstacles appear, they give up. They leave everything halfway, as if the story of their life didn't deserve a worthy ending. Maybe this story sounds familiar to you. Maybe you've promised yourself that this time will be different, that now you will finish what you started, that you won't give up again. But here you are again, stuck in the same pattern. Why does this happen? Because most people believe that the key to success is to start strong. But the reality is that the beginning means nothing if you don't make it to the end. Think about everything you could have achieved if you had simply finished what you started. If you hadn't left that course halfway. If you had continued training instead of giving up after a month. If every time you started something, you had taken it to the end, today you would be a different person. The problem is that the process is not always exciting. There comes a point where the excitement disappears and only discipline remains. That's where the weak give up and the true finishers keep going. Now tell me, what kind of person do you want to be? If you're tired of leaving things halfway, here's what you should do. First, burn the boats. When ancient warriors arrived on enemy land, they burned their boats so there was no option to go back. Do the same. Don't give yourself alternatives. Don't allow yourself to doubt. If you start something, finish it. Second, fall in love with boredom. Not everything will be exciting, not everything will be fun, but that's where the amateurs separate from the professionals. The professional keeps going even when the process becomes monotonous. Third, make failure unbearable. If you give up, let it hurt. Let it be a constant reminder that you failed yourself. That next time, when you want to give up, you remember that feeling and keep going instead of failing again. Fourth, visualize your end. Don't think about how it feels now. Think about how it will feel when you finish, when you cross the finish line, when you look back and see everything you achieved simply because you didn't give up. The world is full of people who started strong and got nowhere. Don't be one of them. Make the story of your life have a worthy ending. be a finisher. 4. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. Most people are trapped in an all-or-nothing mindset. If they can't achieve a massive change right away, they feel it's not worth trying. If they don't see quick results, they lose motivation. If they don't achieve perfection, they punish themselves. And that's how they end up giving up before reaching the goal. The problem is that people only applaud big achievements. They only recognize the final success. But what no one tells you is that success is the accumulation of small daily victories. It's every right decision you made, every habit you repeated, every moment you chose discipline over comfort. Success doesn't come all at once. It's built in the details. An athlete doesn't become a champion in a single training session. A writer doesn't finish his book in a single day. An entrepreneur doesn't build an empire in a week. It's the small actions repeated thousands of times that create something big. However, most people ignore these small victories. They focus only on what's missing, on what they haven't achieved yet, on how far they are from the goal. And by doing so, they rob themselves of the motivation to continue. Because if you never celebrate your progress, your mind will start to believe that nothing you do is worth it. Look at how the brain works. It's designed to respond to rewards. When you achieve something and acknowledge it, your mind associates the effort with a positive feeling, with real progress. But if you never allow yourself to celebrate, if you only focus on what's still missing, the brain starts to see the effort as a burden, as an endless struggle without reward. And that's when you start to lose the battle. That's why every victory counts, no matter how small, no matter if you're still far from the goal. Each step is proof that you're moving in the right direction. People who achieve great things have a different mindset. They don't wait to be successful to feel good. They feel good along the way because they know that every effort counts. If you exercise today, it's a victory. If you made some progress on your project, it's a victory. If you managed to resist a distraction, if you chose to do the right thing instead of the easy thing, it's a victory. Each of these small victories adds up. Each one strengthens discipline, reinforces confidence, fuels commitment. Each victory creates momentum. But here's the key. Celebrating doesn't mean settling. It's not about stopping and applauding oneself without continuing to move forward. It's about recognizing progress in order to keep pushing harder. There's a difference between the one who feels good only when they reach the top and the one who learns to enjoy every step of the ascent. The first one wears out, gets frustrated, and often gives up. The second one just keeps moving forward, no matter how far they are. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius spoke about the value of continuous progress, of improving a little more each day, without despairing for the final result. Because in the end, success is not a destination. It's the sum of each day you decided to keep going. So, start seeing it differently. Every small advance is proof that you're already winning. Every day you didn't give up is proof that you have what it takes. Don't wait until the end to recognize your effort. Celebrate every victory. Because it's those daily small battles that over time will lead you to the one war. 5. Become your own coach. Nobody is going to come to save you. Nobody is going to show up one day to give you the push you need. Nobody is going to be there every morning to get you out of bed, force you to work towards your goals, or demand that you fulfill what you promised. That's your responsibility. The problem is that most people are used to someone else guiding them. From a young age, we are told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Parents, teachers, bosses, There's always someone giving orders, and without realizing it, we become dependent on external direction. But here's the problem. When there's nobody telling us what to do, we do nothing. If you want to achieve something big, you have to learn to be your own coach. You have to be the voice in your head that demands more, the one that pushes you when you want to give up, the one that picks you up when you fall. Because if you don't control yourself, the world will do it for you. Look at the best athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, creators. They didn't get there because someone forced them. They got there because they learned to demand more from themselves. They don't need external motivation because they've developed internal discipline. But how do you become your own coach? First, stop negotiating with yourself. You can't keep making deals with your weak mind. That part of you that wants comfort, that looks for excuses, that prefers the easy way, has no right to an opinion. If you decide to do something, you do it. Period. It doesn't matter if you feel like it, if you're tired, if the day isn't perfect. You fulfill what you said. Second, treat yourself with the harshness the world will treat you. Do you think life is going to be kind to you? That it's going to hand you opportunities on a silver platter? No, the world is tough. If you don't learn to withstand the pressure, if you don't push yourself to be stronger, it will crush you. Don't expect compassion. Be your own ruthless boss. Third, set rules and follow them. If a coach tells his team to train at 6 in the morning, the team trains at 6 in the morning. They don't negotiate. They don't ask if they can start later. You have to do the same with yourself. Define schedules, habits, standards, and don't break them. Fourth, develop a tolerance for discomfort. Pain, discomfort, mental fatigue. All of this is part of the process. Want to be strong? Then learn to be uncomfortable without complaining. Learn to keep going when everything in you wants to stop. Endurance is the most powerful muscle you can develop. Most people treat themselves too gently. They give themselves permissions. They justify. They forgive too quickly. But those who really go far don't allow themselves to be weak. They demand of themselves as if someone were watching them, as if every day were a test of endurance. Because it is. If you don't learn to train yourself, you will always depend on someone else to move you. And the truth is that nobody is going to drag you to success. You have to drag yourself. So from now on, start thinking like your own coach. Be the voice that doesn't accept excuses. Be the one who pushes, the one who demands, the one who forces to keep going. Because nobody else will do it for you. 6. Close the door on excuses. Excuses are like invisible chains. You don't see them, but they're there, holding you back every time you try to move. They're comfortable, comforting. They whisper in your ear that today is not the day, that tomorrow will be better, that you need to wait for the right moment, and you believe them. But excuses are nothing more than a trap, a prison built by your own mind. The human mind is programmed to protect you from effort, from pain, from the unknown. In ancient times, this made sense. Staying in the safe zone meant survival. But today, in an era where opportunities are within anyone's reach, that same programming has become an obstacle. Your brain makes you believe that you need to avoid discomfort, that it's better to wait, that you're not ready. But waiting is a poison. And every day you postpone, you become weaker. Excuses have a sleek way of disguising themselves as legitimate reasons. I don't have time. I'm too tired. Now is not the best time. I don't know how to start. But the funny thing is that while some people use these phrases to justify their inaction, others, with less time, less energy, and fewer resources keep going. Not because it's easy, but because they understand something that most don't. Every excuse you accept is a step back in your life. Think about this. There are people who have come from nothing, without money, without support, without contacts, and they have built something big. Not because they were lucky or had innate talent, but because they never allowed an excuse to define their destiny. Meanwhile, there are others who have everything: internet access, free time, opportunities, and yet they remain stuck in the same routine. Not because they can't move forward, but because they have chosen to believe in their own limitations. Epictetus said it centuries ago: "It's not what happens to you that stops you, but how you choose to face it." The excuse is not real. It's just a story you've told yourself so many times that you ended up believing it. But here's the truth. You can break those chains right now. The difference between those who achieve something and those who stay in the same place is not talent, nor money, nor intelligence. It's the ability to act regardless of the circumstances. It doesn't matter if the day is tough, if the situation is adverse, if the path seems uncertain. Those who move forward do so even when everything is against them. You have little time. Use what you have. 10 minutes of action are worth more than 1,000 hours of excuses. You don't have resources. Start with what's there. Talent is forged in scarcity, not in comfort. Conditions are not ideal. They never will be. Those who wait for the perfect moment keep waiting until the last day of their life. Excuses are like a locked door. But here's the irony. It was always open. You could always leave, but you chose to stay inside. Stop waiting. Stop justifying your inaction. Move your foot. Take the first step. It won't be easy. It won't be comfortable, but it will be real. And when you do, when you refuse to accept another excuse in your life, you'll realize something powerful. You were never incapable. You were just chained to a lie. 7. Reprogram your brain. Your mind is the battlefield where your success or failure is defined. It's not the outside world that stops you. It's not the lack of opportunities. It's not luck. It's the way you've been programmed to think. From the time you were a child, society, education, and your environment shaped the way you perceive effort, failure, and discipline. They taught you to avoid pain, to seek immediate gratification, to give up when things get tough. Unknowingly, your brain was conditioned to seek comfort instead of growth. But if you continue to operate under that same thought system, you'll never get anywhere. Look at successful people. They are no different from you in terms of ability. They weren't born with special genetics or hidden powers. The difference is that they trained their mind to think differently. They changed the way they respond to challenges, the meaning they give to sacrifice, the way they interpret failure. And you can do it too. Your brain is not a fixed structure. It's malleable. It can adapt, reconfigure, strengthen. Just as you train a muscle in the gym, you can train your mind to become stronger, more disciplined, more resilient. The problem is that most people don't. They continue with the same weak mentality they've always had. They tell themselves that they are not disciplined, that they lack willpower, that they can't change. And by repeating it so many times, they end up believing it. If you want real change, you need to start from the root. You have to reprogram your brain. First, change the way you talk to yourself. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm lazy, I'm bad at this, I can't change," then that's exactly what you become. The words you use reinforce your identity. Start telling yourself what you want to be, not what you were in the past. Don't say, "I'll try to be disciplined." Say, I am a disciplined person and I act as such. It's not about motivation, it's about identity. Second, learn to love effort. Don't see it as a punishment, but as a privilege. Every time you feel something is hard, don't avoid it. Use it as an opportunity to strengthen your mind. If you train your brain to withstand discomfort, sooner or later, nothing can stop you. Third, replace instant gratification with long-term satisfaction. Society has programmed people to seek immediate pleasure, fast food, easy entertainment, instant rewards. But real rewards take time. If you can train your brain to delay pleasure, you'll become someone who achieves great things. Fourth, expose your mind to the right kind of information. If all you consume are empty distractions, your brain weakens. Surround yourself with content that makes you stronger. Read about people who have overcome obstacles. Listen to ideas that challenge you. Absorb knowledge that drives you to be better. What goes into your mind defines what comes out of it. Stoicism teaches that true control comes from within. Epictetus said that it's not the events that affect us, but our interpretation of them. If you change the way you perceive challenges, you change your destiny. You're not a victim of your past programming. You're the architect of your own mind. You can continue with the same way of thinking that has kept you stuck, or you can start training your brain to be indestructible. The question is not if you can change. The question is whether you're willing to do it. 8. Find your unshakable why. Nothing in life holds without a strong enough reason. Discipline, consistency, and self-control cannot be maintained with simple motivation or fleeting desires. They only hold when you have a why so solid that nothing can break it. Most people fail because they have never stopped to ask themselves why they do what they do. They live on autopilot, chasing goals imposed by others without a real connection to what they want. And when the road gets tough, they give up because they never had a real reason to endure the struggle. Look at the people who have achieved extraordinary things. They are not the most talented, nor the luckiest, nor the smartest. They are the ones with an unshakable purpose, something that keeps them standing when everything seems against them, something that makes giving up not an option. The problem is that most people look for superficial reasons. They say they want more money, more success, a better body, but when things get tough, those reasons are not enough. Because when fatigue, pain, frustration come, your brain is going to ask, why do we keep doing this? And if your answer is not strong enough, you will give up. Always. If you want to become unstoppable, you need a why that burns you inside, something you can't ignore, something that makes you feel that there is no other option but to keep going. First, make it personal. If your reason doesn't touch your soul, it won't serve you. What do you really want? Not what society says you should want, not what impresses others. What really matters to you. Second, make it powerful. If your why is not big enough, any excuse will destroy it. Ask yourself, if I had to keep going even on my worst days, what reason would be so strong that it wouldn't let me give up? Third, make it constant. It's not enough to find your why once and forget it. You must remember it every day. Write it down, repeat it, make it part of your identity. Let it become the voice that pushes you when everything else fails. Fourth, connect it with something bigger than you. The strongest reasons are not just personal. They are those that impact beyond oneself. When your goal is not just for you, but for something or someone else, it becomes unshakable. The Stoics knew that purpose was the basis of a strong life. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that every day he should remember why he did what he did. Because when the purpose is clear, discipline becomes natural. The problem was never a lack of motivation. The problem is that you had never found a why strong enough. Now, it's your turn to find it. Because when you do, nothing will stop you. Nothing.
Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.